is the reflecting pool. So we have a reflecting pool here, a koi pond right behind it, out that way. But at one time, this was one of the first heated swimming pools in the United States. So they had electricity here at the house in 1891. So that was pretty much before almost anybody had electricity in the United States. They had men and women's changing rooms on either side here. They had a kitchen down here. They like to have parties down here. This little building with the metal roof has 3 large speakers, so they could listen to music when they were having parties. Yeah. I'm going to pull down just a little bit further. This whole area is known as the East Terrace Garden. Designed by one of the first female landscape architects in the United States, Marion Coffin. She was a friend of Henry Francis DuPont's and their family. So she graduated from MIT with her landscape design certificate, and so here she did all this the hardscaping, she did all the grading, she did all the plans, and Henry Francis picked out the plans. She was the landscape architect for Henry Francis DuPont. She did the sundial garden, which was further up. I kind of didn't talk too much about that because there was so much going on up there, but where the lilacs were. She did the West Port Royal entrance, which is exactly right up the stairs on the other side of the house, and she also designed the peony garden as well.
And how many rooms in the mansion again now?
175 rooms.
Wow,
yeah.
That's a lot of space.
Yeah, for a family of 4. Henry Francis, his wife Ruth Wales DuPont, and their 2 children, Ruth Ellen and Pauline Louise. Yeah, okay. But they had lots of servants and cooks and so forth that lived in the house as well. If you notice, they kept all those 200-plus-year-old beech and tulip trees that are close to the house. They're much taller than the roof line of the house, and that just makes the house look more harmonious with the landscape. And that was very important to Henry Francis's design inside and outside of the house. I'm going to pull up a little further. Right here to the right, you see the library there. The library is called the Louise Crowning Shield Building. Louise DuPont Crowning Shield was Henry Francis's sister. She was born here on Winterthur Estate as well. In that building there is the library, the conservation lab, the research center, and we have a graduate program that we do in conjunction with the University of Delaware, and they moved in that building.
They definitely stopped there.
So Henry Francis collected beautiful plants for the garden, fine American decorative arts for the house, and he also raised and bred Holstein dairy cows. And that's the dairy barn complex right on top of the hill. You can see the big barn in front of the radio tower. I'll explain more of those buildings when we come back the other way, but take note of the underpass that goes underneath the driveway and the overpass that goes over top of the little stream that's next to us. That's so 450 head of cows, after they were fed and milked, could walk right out to their pastures, and they would be all up and down these hills grazing. Now that we've come out from under the trees, you can really see the rolling landscape here. We're in the northwest section of Delaware, the Piedmont region. The major rock formation underlying the hills is the Wissahickon Formation. We have 3 quarries on the property, and the rocks that they were hitting from the quarry are part of that formation. They're a metamorphic rock, and here's one of the quarries right up there with the bridges with the red buds all around it. They were getting a rock called blue rock. Locally, that's what we call it. It's a metamorphic rock, a type of rock called gneiss, G-N-E-I-S-S. We even have a minor league baseball team named after that kind of rock. They're called the Blue Rock, in Wilmington. A lot of, they used the rock that they quarried from those quarries to build bridges, like the one that we're going over right now, and walls. This is the duck pond over here. We just stand up a little stream that comes off down the hill. We have some turtles on the log right there. They're painted turtles. We also have snapping turtles in there as well. They're much bigger. This is the pond where they would cut the ice from for the ice well terrace. a lone tree up there. That was one part of the Imaginator estate. They had a big fruit tree orchard up there. Also had sheep up there and a vegetable garden. Henry Francis sold that part of the property off to the Wilmington Country Club. I'm going to turn around here. You look off to the right, you see the train station. So Henry Algernon was the president of the Wilmington and Northern Railroad, so he had a train station built on the property. It's a really beautiful building, too. The train still does run. It goes, mostly used to go up to Pennsylvania coal country and then down to the Hagley Mills. It hooks up with some other lines as well. But they could bring the gunpowder up to the Pennsylvania coal country. They could blast for the coal. They could bring the coal down here before they had electricity. They could heat the house and run things down here. Even down at Hagley, they have a water wheel down there, but sometimes it would freeze, so they had a steam engine down there to run the mill. There was also a post office in there at one time. I'm going to back up. We still have a post office on the property today. It's just over like at the old Bitterman barn closer to the house. If you look past the train station roof to the far hillside over there, you see the trees. That was once part of the 2,600-acre estate that was Winterthur. Today, that is the Brandywine Creek State Park over there. If you look around, you don't see any high-rises over at Wilmington. You don't see neighboring houses or strip malls or anything. This is pretty much the view that Henry Francis would have seen when he was alive, and he wanted to preserve as well. He considered the whole estate a country estate museum. At one time, there was 20 farms on the property. They had an ox barn over there. They had the sheep. They had turkey farm, chicken farm. They had the dairy cows. And here at the East Barn Complex to the right is where they had the Hereford, steers, and the hogs.
No more cows?
No, we have sheep like up where you entered at the gatehouse.
Yeah, I saw the sheep coming in.
Yeah, there's a merino sheep and there's some goats. I don't know what kind of goats they are. Yeah, but that's all. They're the only animals that we have now. That beautiful lemony color is a Japanese willow over there, tree. We have some Canada geese there. This is a larger pond, holds over 1 million gallons of water. Those orange and blue floats are freshwater mussel nurseries.